Are you looking for a good recipe that is easy to make, not super time consuming, healthy, and also delicious? This recipe is for you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Britt Brings It Home. I'm Britt and I do videos to help you create a healthy and organized home. And I'm all about eating healthy, nutritious, real foods. Shrimp pad thai is one of my favorite foods. I used to love to get it at restaurants just because I love the peanut butter taste in it. I love how much flavor is in it. I love the noodles. I love shrimp. But one thing that a lot of shrimp pad thais is missing is like a good vegetable content. They're not very vegetable heavy. They're usually noodle heavy and peanut heavy. And so I wanted to make one that was more nutritious. And so to bump up the micronutrients, where we get all those vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals, we are substituting the rice noodles that are in traditional pad thai with zoodles, made from zucchini. So you're getting some vegetables with lots of good nutrition in there. And then we're also bumping up the vegetable content with some other things. And we are using almond butter instead of peanut butter, just because peanuts are high in lectin and almonds are not as high in lectin, and almonds have a better omega-3 fat content than peanuts. And also, a lot of people do have allergies to peanuts and not as many to almonds. So this is a good alternative for people that do have peanut allergies. Now, if you have almond allergies, just switch that. So this recipe is full of nutrition. It doesn't take a lot of pots and pans to use, and it doesn't take a lot of time to make. You can even do some meal prep earlier in the day or on the weekend and chop your veggies and spiralize your zucchini to make it even quicker when it's time to cook supper. This recipe just takes about 15 minutes to prep, to do the chopping the vegetables, and then about 15 minutes to cook. So a total of just about 30 minutes or 15 if you prep on the weekend. Okay, so we're gonna get started. The first thing you wanna do is to make sure that your shrimp is thawed out, and we're using 1.5 pounds of wild caught shrimp, and the ones I'm using are Argentinian. Once that's thawed out, it's time to start prepping the vegetables. Okay, now you're gonna wanna chop a half of a yellow onion, and I find it easiest to chop off the ends first and then take the rest of the peel off, and then cut it in half and cut it into about 1/4 inch pieces one way, and then I take the whole thing and do a 1/4 turn with it and then chop it again into 1/4 inch pieces, and then just put it on the plate, set it aside, because once we start cooking everything, it's gonna go really quickly. It's kind of like a stir fry. It cooks quickly. So you want to make sure that all your veggies are chopped, they're prepped, they're ready to go, so that once you start cooking everything, you can just add the veggies to the pan and cook away. Next, you're going to mince 2 garlic cloves and then also add them to the plate, set them aside. And I've got my little helper there. My 5-year-old son is helping me with getting rid of all the little scraps and putting them into our compost for me. Okay, next you're going to take a 1/4 pound of sugar snap peas and just chop the ends off of those and set them aside as well. And then 5th, you're going to take those shrimp that are already thawed out, and then you're just going to peel that shell and tail off of the shrimp and set them aside in a bowl as well. Okay, we're almost done with the prepping, I promise. Next, you're going to take a purple cabbage, and by the way, I have already washed all of my veggies, well, my peas and my purple cabbage. When I go grocery shopping and I bring the groceries home, I go ahead and wash everything then before I put it away in my fridge. If you haven't already, go ahead and wash those veggies before you do the chopping. So you're going to finely slice your red cabbage until you have about 2 cups worth, and it ends up being about 1/4 of the cabbage, depending on, of course, what the size of your cabbage is. And by the way, red cabbage is a wonderful source of antioxidants. It is actually the food that has the most anti-nutrients per dollar. I mean, a red cabbage cabbage is about $2 for the whole thing. We're only using about 1/4 of it, so it only costs about 50 cents for all that red cabbage. And antioxidants in fruits and vegetables are in the compounds that give that food its color. So the more colorful a fruit or vegetable is, the more antioxidants it has. So a red cabbage does have more antioxidants than a green cabbage does. It is that darker, richer color. And they're also a great source of vitamin C. Okay, and now we're making the noodles or the zoodles. We're spiralizing the zucchini, and I'm using 2 zucchinis here, but you may need to use 3 if your zucchinis are a little bit smaller, but spiralize 2 or 3 zucchinis until you have about 3 cups worth. Okay, and then next is the green onion. Take about 3 stalks of green onion and dice them to make about 1/4 of a cup worth of green onions. Although this is just going to be for topping, so you can chop as much as you want depending on how much you want to add to the top, like as your garnish. And then same thing with cilantro. We are finely chopping some cilantro to make about 1/4 of a cup worth. And again, this is going to be for garnish. You're going to put it on top at the end. So chop as much or as little as you'd like to. I know there's some people that are in the camp of they hate cilantro and think it tastes like soap. I'm in the camp of I absolutely love cilantro. I think it tastes so fresh. So let me know in the comments, do you love cilantro or hate cilantro? There don't really seem to be a lot of people that are right in the middle. So which one are you? And then the last thing, which apparently I did not get it filmed, but the last thing is ginger. And you can either use fresh ginger or ginger powder for this. I used fresh ginger and I grated some ginger to make about 1 tablespoon worth, or you can just use about 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger powder. Okay, and that is all of the prep. All of our veggies and shrimp are ready to go. So now it's time to start cooking. Okay, so we're gonna get the sauce going, that like faux peanut sauce that's traditionally in pad thais. Again, we're using almond butter instead. And so to make the sauce, get a small pot and put it on a burner over medium heat. And to that, you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, or if you wanna use ghee, you can. 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos, which is a healthier alternative to soy sauce. 1/4 of a cup of almond butter. Again, if you want to use peanut butter, go for it. 1/4 of a cup of rice wine vinegar. 1/4 a teaspoon of fish sauce. The ginger that you grated, or else 1/4 a teaspoon of ground ginger. And then 2 teaspoons of black pepper. By the way, this recipe is a nightshade-free version of shrimp pad thai. I do have eczema, and one thing that flares up my eczema is nightshade. So that's peppers, tomatoes, tomatillos, and potatoes, and some other things, but those are the main ones. And so I can't do like hot, chili peppers, bell peppers, things like that. So to give it spice, we're using a little bit more black pepper than I would normally use in a dish, because black pepper is the one pepper that is not a nightshade. But if you want to add some more spice to this recipe, you could definitely add some chili powder, some sriracha, some bell pepper, whatever kind of spicy stuff you prefer. And by the way, you may notice on my hands that I do have an eczema flare up right now. I just got this big flare up. This is like the biggest flare up I've had in a long time. I've come to find out what it is from, and I've already been working towards fixing the situation, and it's so much better than it is here. And I will share in another video what it is that has caused this eczema flare up and how I am going about healing it. And I've already done several videos about eczema, so if you have eczema too, definitely check those out. So stir your sauce every once in a while until it's melted and everything has blended together. It'll take about 5 minutes, and then just turn off the burner and wait. We're gonna add that sauce to the pad thai at the end. So now let's get the rest of the pad thai going. So in a large pan, again over medium heat, you're gonna add about another 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. And once the pan is hot and the coconut oil has melted, you're gonna add your onion that you have already chopped. Let it saute while you're stirring for about 2 minutes, and then add the garlic and stir and let it cook for another minute. At that time, the onion should be starting to turn translucent, and then you're gonna add the sugar snap peas. Continue to stir and let them cook for about 2 minutes. And then you're gonna make like a well. You're gonna push all the veggies to the side of the pan, and you're gonna crack 2 eggs open and drop them them in the center. Try not to get any eggshells in there, and let them cook for about 2 minutes or until the whites are set. And then you're going to use your spoon and kind of break them apart and mix together the eggs and the veggies. Next, you're going to add the shrimp to the pan and stir everything together. The shrimp will take about 4 minutes to cook. Then you're going to add the spiralized zucchini and your chopped cabbage. Mix everything together as much as you can. I know the pan is pretty full. And then you're going to cover it with the lid and let it cook for 4 minutes. You don't want the zucchini to be soggy. You want it to be al dente, so don't cook it longer than that. And then take the lid off, add your sauce that you have already prepared, and just stir everything together. And that is it. Just garnish with your chopped cilantro, your green onions, a little lime, and some sesame seeds, and that is it. So I'd love to know in the comments if you try this recipe and what you think, if you liked it, if your family liked it. And thanks so much for watching. Be sure to hit subscribe, come be a part of my community here, and I'll see you in the next video. From my home to yours. See you next time.